Hi, welcome back. I know it's been a while since I posted, but this top 10 video, I've been working on these videos for a while. Stuff has been coming up, but let's get straight to it. Let's get to the top 10 movies of 2023 and let it be known. These are my personal picks. You guys do not have to agree with these. I believe myself to be more of general audience, maybe sometimes a bit more compared to watching more movies than the others. But when I watch these movies, I look for just fun, a good time, and that's how I made this list. So let's not waste any time. Let's start with number 10, The Holdovers. That's what I'm gonna go with. I know a lot of buzz has been going on for this movie, and one thing I'll give it for sure, the acting is great. I started this movie thinking, why do people like this so much? I get it. I was like, I don't want to watch some boring Oscar indie film, to be honest. But while I was watching it, the film defied expectations and delivered a fun experience. The story and the characters were memorable, and it was a hidden gem, to be honest. I would consider this a watch, but I wouldn't say it's for everybody. If you're looking for a nice, cute Christmas story, this is what it is. This is a movie you're probably going to see in like a school or your teacher playing it, where it's an enjoyable movie. I can see people saying the acting was great, the story was great. It's a slow burn, but it's fun, and it's made my number 10. So let's keep it going with number 9, Saltburn. This movie, I think, is going to be a controversial pick for some. I watched this. I know a lot of people are giving it a lot of love. The acting was great. The drama is great. And I think it's more of the characters in this movie which surprise you, because you're following a character that's different, you can say. He's a bit mysterious. There's suspense in this movie. I didn't watch any of the trailers, so I didn't know what to expect. I saw the main actor, I forget his name, and I was like, oh, well, the girlies are just going to fangirl over him. Maybe that's why people are craving this movie. But after watching it, I was surprised. I was like, oh, I did not know where this was going to go. The ending was, there was suspense. Let's just say that much. This is not a family film. Do not watch this with a family. There's a lot of adult things going on. It's a harsh reality, and to be honest, I didn't think this was going to make the list, but then I couldn't not give it a spot after seeing the other movies and just how unpredictable and how just a natural movie it was. It wasn't the biggest blockbuster. It wasn't something people were, I don't know, personally waiting for, but it delivered. Let's go to number 8. This is a personal pick that you guys might have not seen, but I saw it because I was a big fan, Air. Just like a lot of other brand films, or like how a brand started, I think Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, the Batman-Robin duo, delivered. Their acting was great, and it was a really interesting story, because I was like, oh, so this is how the shoe was made. And just seeing how, like, such a small dream, just an entrepreneur's dream, I think that's what made me enjoy this movie more, is why I liked it. It shows how some people just don't believe. You have to take a leap of faith. A lot of things, how the cruelty of the world is, but also how dreams get created. So I think Air was a fresher breath air. Ha ha ha, corny, but it's the reality. I think it was a captivating drama, and it captures the human spirit, resilience in the face of adversity. Its poignant storytelling and powerful performance really got me, honestly. It left a big impact. I didn't see it on too many people's lists, but I think it definitely deserved one on mine. I didn't think it's a must-watch for anybody that believes in the shoes and has been a Jordan fan at all. So let's keep it going with number 7. Iron Claw. Now this movie, I had no idea. I thought I was gonna go in for a WWE movie before, and then I saw the trailer and found out it was like a story from way before wrestling. So I was like, I'm probably not gonna like this. But then it surprised me. The movie really had a gripping story. Just the family dynamic, wrestling, just the dedication of the actors, how big they got, how much they're in it. Just seeing like how good the drama is, and for like a real life story at that, I feel like that's what touches me, and I think that's what's going to touch a lot of people. It's a genre that WWE has done basically butchered at this point, but since this is so different, and I think that's what people maybe draw in the main audience, this movie's going to be a bit different. This actually has strong performances and a standout story, which make you emotional, makes you feel for the brothers. It's a nice wrestling story. It's about the reality. I don't know how nice you can say with the drama that's going on, but it touches you. So I think it definitely is worth it. So now let's move on to number 6. American Fiction. Now this was another pick that a lot of I saw for the Oscars, and I thought, oh, please don't be clickbait, but surprisingly it was really fun. It really delves into the complexities of storytelling and the blurred lines between reality and fiction. The standout performances and the narrative just kept making me guess, and I think it was really worth it. I feel like it's a really fun movie. My only thing, I feel like reason it's on like maybe 6 and down, I feel like this and The Holdovers was a streaming movie, especially I think so far the movies I've named. I think all of them are for streaming purposes. So from like 10 to 6, I think 100% these are movies that are very great. But personally, in my opinion, watching in the future on streaming is what they're made for. Because when I go to a cinema movie, I expect big action, fun, emotion, songs. And some of these movies don't have that. They have some aspects, but the storytelling was great. So when I'm going 5 to 1, I want you guys to think of that. So let's start off with number 5, John Wick 3. You know this is mass entertainment. The action delivered, the story delivered. John Wick is a legend now, nothing can really hurt him. And yes, when I watched this movie, I did not think this was going to make my number 10 or top 10, but just because how enjoyable it was, how this universe has built, I couldn't discredit it. At the end of the day, I would still watch this for all the action scenes. Any cousin that hasn't seen John Wick, I'm going to show him that. Any friend that hasn't seen it, they're going to enjoy the action, so this definitely meets the cut. Everybody wants more Keanu. This is me hoping if there's a John Wick 4, this will take my number 2 list. If John Wick 3 gets a number 4, it'll make it number 2, just because that's how happy I'll be it will return. So, let's go into the next one. Godzilla -1 for my number 4. I know. I'm a big Godzilla fan. Why number 4? I know people putting this on number 1, number 2, number 3, but I'm sorry. The movie was enjoyable, but I'm more of a Hollywood Godzilla fan. The movie, I felt like had some, like, the fact that it was like a Japanese movie, it felt more like it was something I would expect from them, where somebody like me, I've seen so many movies where I can see, oh, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. This movie had a scene where I was like, oh wow, that's a surprise, and then at the end, got rid of that surprise. And whoever's seen the movie, they'll know it, but watching Godzilla movie where it's like, you see the evil Godzilla version is so cool and fun. And even though you want to watch more of it, you're like, I also want to see him lose, but I also wish they had more money to make the Godzilla graphics cooler. Like this Godzilla, I'm sorry, is ugly, but the theme when it plays, it's nostalgia. That's why this movie definitely made my list for number 4. Now let's go with number 3. This is going to be controversial. Poor Things. I saw this movie unexpectedly. I just saw the cast and I thought, this is going to be fun. And I didn't see the trailer, and I'm going to tell you this. I laughed a few times. It's a simple movie, but it's a few times when you'll see me very happy to see a female lead and be like, thankfully this movie delivered, and I was happy to see it was female-led. And what do I mean by that? A lot of feminist movies and a lot of movies that lean into female leads, they butcher it by making this just like, they focus on that. It's, oh, it's a female lead, it's a female lead, it's a female. No, this movie was like, it's a story, the lead just happens to be female. That's how it should be, because that's how you get good stories, and that's how I care for these characters. I don't care if the lead is a male, female, or anything. I care if the story's good. If the lead happens to be a female, that's great. Representation. But when I'm looking at it, I need the story to be good, because then if the movie's great, that representation, because everybody's going to remember that character, and I'm going to remember these characters, and this is going to be a movie I watch with the boys because it's going to be hilarious. So what's the movie about? I rather hope not to tell you. It's just strange, I'll tell you that much. It's basically watching a child grow up with no social context or cues and being abused and like going through different stages of life, but in a more comedic way, more sci-fi way, which just makes it really, the comedy, the story, the acting, it just made it a really fun movie, and I think it has to make sure my number 3 was gonna be this. So let's move to number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Yes, I know, why is this movie so high? I know I mentioned it. I think this movie didn't get as much credit as it did. I know it's not my favorite out of the trilogy, but the fact is, the movie was a fun time. Everybody learning about Rocket Raccoon's story makes everybody emotional. You watch his TikTok, you watch a reel, you watch anything, happen to do Rocket story, everybody gets sad and goes, damn, that really hit me. And that's why I was like, this has to be on my top 10. Because this movie was a blockbuster movie that everybody was waiting for, and it delivered. Yes, there were small things we didn't like, but at the end of the day, this was one of Marvel's final good movies in phase 4, and it was like, thank you, and it gave a good send-off to a few characters, make me want to see them more, but also it delivered a nice story and makes me think James Gunn can do a good job with the DCEU. So before we get to our number 1, let's do some honorable mentions. Creed 3. Movie was amazing, fun to watch, all the anime references great. I really wanted to add this to my list, but I know a lot of you would have hated me if I did that. So I couldn't look at it with nostalgia, but it was definitely a solid story. The boxing was fun, a little dumb, but you know, when that Rocket theme plays and the story is decent, you're just happy with what you got. Evil Dead 3. Surprisingly, this was one horror movie I didn't expect to be as good. It wasn't the best horror movie, it wasn't the worst horror movie, but it was great. It wasn't good, it wasn't just good. So it has to be here. The horror was an unexpected aspect. The story was fun. It brought back Evil Dead in a great way. Dungeons and Dragons. This movie was a genuinely fun family movie, which I don't think we get that often nowadays, where I can say you have to go to the movie theaters with your family to watch this, because it's just genuinely fun. It's funny, a little bit quirky, but it's a nice family movie theater and experience, and that's what you want. Talk to Me. The horror movie that I think is a little overrated, but it definitely deserves the respect it does. You know, horror movies, when they come, they're either horrible. I haven't posted yet, but Night Swim came out. That was trash, so it made Talk to Me feel like it was an amazing movie. Story was fun. You connected a bit with the characters, even though I thought they were a little annoying. The story had me engaged. Barbie. This was definitely not going to make my best movie of the year list. This was just hype. The movie was fun. I can hate it. I hate love this movie, so I think everybody hate loves this movie. If you genuinely just love this movie, that's fine too, but I hate it and I love it at the same time because it invokes too many emotions, too many problems, and too many fights, politicals, too much nonsense for me, so I couldn't put it on my top 10 list. Oppenheimer. This movie, I think it was overrated. I'm sorry. Whenever I watch a movie, I go off the fact that, can I watch this movie again? A lot of these movies on my top 10 list, I want to watch this movie again with my friends. But I feel like if I watch Oppenheimer with some of them, they're going to lack, or I'm just going to fall asleep and wait for certain scenes or like certain things. Yes, the acting was great, the story was great, but I'm sorry, it's a one-time watch. And my last is Elemental. I think this movie was a little overlooked. Just going to run through a few so we don't have this review being too much. Elemental was a great, fun family film, I think, overlooked. Mission Impossible, it was a great setup, but I think that's all it did. Gran Turismo was fun, worth a watch with a good twist. Super Mario Brothers, it was a fun, great family kid. This actually was up for debate in my top 10. And The Creator. All of these movies did great, but number one movie, I think you all know what it is. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Why this? I think genuinely because this movie brought back just me wanting to... When I watched Infinity Wars, I was like, damn, I can't wait till the next movie. And when I watched this movie, I was like, damn, I really can't wait till the next movie. They're really gonna make me wait. Getting that theater experience has been a while for me. So just having that already, and just with a great story, a Spider-Man movie that has connections and everything, it lives up to expectations. It adds the characters that I want to see. Nothing was expected, to be honest. And it just makes me sad that we're not going to get another part. But this movie definitely delivers in all aspects. Can't say acting, but voice acting was great. Story was great. Even the visuals. So because this movie I would watch again. I feel like after a little bit of time watching 1, 2, no problem. And the rewatchability factor and wanting me to watch number 3 already. This has to stay on number 1. So tell me what you guys think. Tell me movies maybe I missed. I'll be honest, I might have not added some movies because I haven't seen them. Were a lot of my mass media movies too much for you guys? I'm sorry, I'm just a sucker for nostalgia and just fun and expectations, because music and everything, just the theater going experience and rewatching movies is the big thing for me. But we can all have differing opinions. I appreciate everybody that's watching. Thank you. Like, follow, and subscribe.
No.